We'll be attempting to travel from our homes in Earls Barton all the way along the River Nene to the east coast of England. It's getting very, very difficult now. Starting on Arbury Hill, the River Nene flows 169 kilometres through the English countryside all the way out to the Wash. A good 20 or so kilometres downstream is where we live in Earls Barton. This is where we'll join the river and follow it all the way out to the coast, learning all there is to know about our local river, from how it formed to ancient archaeology, rare wildlife and old train lines.
When I wake up, well I know I'm gonna be the man who wakes up next to you. When I go out, yeah I know I'm gonna be the man who goes along with you.
Hello everybody, it's the day of the walk. The weather is beautiful. This is it, we're on.
I'm gonna be the man who's heaving to you. But I would walk 500 miles and I would walk 500 more to be the man who walked 1,000 miles to fall down at your door.
We're Harry, George and Elliot, three lads that live in the upper course of the Nene Valley in a village called Earls Barton. For years now we've been walking along its banks, but we've always pondered the question, what if we walk it fully? Fast forward 2 years, and here we are. 140 kilometres, 3 lads, 4 days. We start in our home village Earls Barton and weave our way through the gravel pits before making our way up to Thrapston to hunker down for the night. Day 2 we carry on through the gravel pits, passing castles, ancient railways and so much more, until making our way into Peterborough, where we will rest up for day 3. This is where the Nene changes. As we enter the fens, the landscape gets a lot flatter, more direct, more straightforward. Not much to see around here other than open fields, but it will sure be a change to what we usually see. As we power on to Wisbeach, that's where our final night will be, which has a very special accommodation waiting for us. And then finally day 4, we'll finish off the last stretch of the river until we reach the mouth at Guy's Head, approaching on the south side of the river so we can walk up to the sea and mesmerise the views. However, this hike doesn't come without its challenges. Day 2 set out 49 kilometres in one stretch, and then day 3, 41 more. On paper, just numbers. In reality, the breaking point. Let's call day 2 the beast of the journey, the one that nearly breaks you, while day 3 is the reckoning, where we will find out if we actually have the resilience to keep going. By the time we set off, this wasn't new to us. We'd already done the miles, trained our legs, even pushed through a 55-kilometre practice walk just weeks before, but nothing can fully prepare you for the reality of the journey itself. Out here, it's not just distance, it's the weight of the pack, it's the relentless hours, the toll of waking up sore and still having to go again. We didn't yet know how much these days will take out of us, or what we'd have to find within ourselves to keep going. But these 3 episodes will document it all. However, this walk isn't without its purpose.
A knight and his maiden once walked along the Danube, very much in love. Then the knight amongst the reeds spotted the maiden an agate of flowers which he was swift to grab. Their heads, a brilliant blue he'd never seen, sang with a longing he couldn't ignore, and the maiden, she sang back, imploring they'd be hers to have. Murmurs of memories, whispers of the past, and a song of sweet summers, of sweet smiles, sweet laughs. As sapphires drawn in a cage, they begged them to be free. The knight without hesitation made sure it be he. He, who secured the beauties down there by the rush, brave enough to fight the hurl and gush of the racing waters, pounding to a daunting beat. He, to be the only one capable in completing such a frightful feat. And for her, it was without hesitation. Down among the reeds, the knight crept to collect their looting. He tread cautiously along the mud-slick banks, careful not to lose his footing. At the water's edge he drew close, hand outstretched. He grasped with a might, with prideful intent. The maiden screamed in fright, the knight's shining armour dull, swept swift away from where the flowers set and low. The knight's head burst from the tide, his arms flailed, his legs kicked, but soon he grew tired. It was no use at all, the current was too strong. He called and called like a baby from its cot. He called the maiden, please, forget me not.
So the animation that Elliot sketched up for us follows an old German tale, of course, A Knight and a Maiden, and it tells us a little bit about how we came to know about the flowers of forget-me-nots. You might know that forget-me-nots are a very important symbol for one charity, which is Alzheimer's Society UK. We wanted to raise some money for a cause that was very close to our hearts, that being Alzheimer's, and putting things together, we decided we aim for £4,500, but 2 months after the walk, on today, 11th of October, we're sitting at £5,524, which is an insane amount of money, and we're just so grateful for everyone who's helped to contribute. Throughout this walk, we thought a lot and reflected a lot on Alzheimer's as an illness. Alzheimer's is a personal bereavement, as of course Alzheimer's across the planet rips so many families apart. I have close friends and myself who have loved family members suffering from Alzheimer's, and being a part of the fight against something so horrible has definitely been a wonderful and rewarding experience.
As of 11:29 on the 25th of August, the day of our walk, we are now sitting at £4,543 between us.
Wow.
But right now we're walking across the Elsbarton segment of the River Nene. It's beautiful. And we're coming up on Summer Leas, which has always been our local nature reserve.
We've done some practice walks. We've done quite a few practice walks. It's just almost past Frapston, that area. We haven't really practiced as much, but we've done a lot of location scouting though. We have been down there, we have checked it, we have modified the route, if you know, to make it a little bit shorter and more up to date, because there's obviously new paths now put in place in there. But yeah, it's really cool actually, farming Northampton.
Yeah, it's a lovely walk, what I've done of it, but I've only done individual sections with it, sort of thing. And then unfortunately I'm laid up with back knee at the moment. But no, it's a lovely walk, certainly. And the sections of it, well, just over the river there, you used to be able to walk straight across the field, but I've fenced it off now, so you have to walk along by the actual bank.
Yeah.
There's some issues along this path with people privatising the areas.
Tristan, no. It might be your birthday, but no.
Oh, it's your birthday!
He's a therapy dog. My wife takes him into schools and the children read to him.
See a red fox lab? He's beautiful. Tristan.
So we're doing it from our homes in Elsbarton to the...
So we'll be on Thursday, hopefully.
Yeah, be there on Thursday. Thanks very much. Thanks for talking. Thank you very much. And way.
I'd like to see
Honestly, it's absolutely gorgeous down here.
It's boiling hot, but it's gorgeous.
There we go. So, we're now walking through Summer Leas, or around the side of it basically, and really when we first came down here, that first time when we slept around your house, Elliot, do you remember that? And we woke up at 5 AM, we discovered Summer Leas. Well, we always knew it was there, but we didn't really, pay much attention to it. Exactly. So we we had a look around and we were greatly inspired by all of its nature, and that's almost funneled into what we're doing today, aren't we?
Yeah.
So honestly, we've got to pay tribute to this place. Some of these, it's absolutely amazing. It's an amazing place. The Wildlife Trust do a great job at keeping it all nice and in tip-top condition. But yeah,
it's very, very well kept.
Right, so while these guys are eating blackberries, I'm going to talk to you about what this path actually is. So this path was the old Northampton to Peterborough railway. So a railway used to go down here. In this documentary, we're going to be referencing this railway track as NVR, Nene Valley Railway. It was quite an old railway. It was, you know, used, a lot of people use it to get from Peterborough to Northampton because the only railway to get to London was from Northampton. So people from Peterborough had to go all the way down to Northampton to get to London. So they used that quite a lot. Obviously it just followed the track of Nene Valley Way, which we're walking to the coast now on. But also, along with people, a lot of raw materials were actually transported on the Nene Valley Railway. For example, right here, this is one of the loading bays. So now it's been turned into a sand martin habitat for sand martins when they come over in the summer, but they've left now because it's kind of the end of summer. But obviously this here is the loading bay. But yeah, so obviously there used to be this summer leads used to be a gravel pit. So they would load up all the gravel now on here. Furthermore, at the bottom of Elsbarton, at the bottom of Station Road, there was a train station. So lots of raw materials from like the iron farms. Was it iron? It was iron, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
Yeah, the iron quarries at the top of Elsbarton was loaded onto that train station.
But you might be wondering how all the materials from the quarry got down to the train station in the first place. Well, the answer is where we're standing right now. Right here used to be an aerial ropeway station that the goods from the quarries would get loaded onto, and it would send it all the way down the valley to train station at the bottom of Elsbarton.
Oh, that's a nice one. Oh my god, that was such a good one.
www.jw.org.
Oh.
Wait, what does that mean?
So you see these trees over here, this one particularly very, very bent. As you can see, as you look up the valley, it's very, it goes downwards. That's the wind flowing down the valley and sweeping these trees here. As you see, the taller trees up there aren't as bent because they're higher up, so the wind follows the flow of the valley, and this tree here has been bent and like shapen to be very, you know, curved, windswept.
Over time, it's almost like the wind has like moulded the tree into this position, and it really does like emphasize how much wind can come down this valley.
Yeah, again with the tall trees over there, as you can see the smaller trees, I don't know if you can see it on the camera.
Oh yeah, they're swept first, aren't they?
Yeah, the smaller trees, like after the tall trees are actually bent, so it just shows, you know, obviously it follows the ground. Yeah.
It is 1:32 and we're just finishing up at McDonald's. Oh yeah, it drops in my pocket.
No.
This is drop. He's come with us for the walk because Freya, my girlfriend, said she wanted some photos of him with the river. So of course I had to oblige. I'm just gonna come away with photos of this guy just sitting in this ridiculous place.
So we we are just passing a place called Chester House. It is a heritage and archaeological Roman site. It has a big museum, it's free to enter. There's been digs, like I guess digs where you can bring school children and stuff to you know, look for Roman artifacts.
That's Hurricane Erin. You see that?
Damn.
So
what app is this?
That's called Zoom Earth. So there's it rotating. Yeah, it is free. But you can see how it's coming towards us. But I think we just missed it because look, it's going up. It's going north. Wow. So yeah, obviously right now it is boiling hot, but we're just on the edge of this giant hurricane. Massive. Anyway, let's hope we don't run into it. It'll be your fault to do.
Right here, we've just found a charging cable that I will be using later. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my god, that's so good.
I still got the shopping list for the kebab. At the start of the walk, I found this little kebab thing. Someone's kebab shopping list on the path, and I've taken it. And I think one of these days I'll buy all the ingredients and I'll cook up some kebab, though I can't cook for the life of me. I have some fantastic stories about cooking.
So just behind me here, if you can't actually see it, well, practically invisible, is Rushden Lakes. So we're just going behind Rushden Lakes right now. But the thing about Rushden Lakes, it is a massive retail park, so it does draw people away from like town centres and that. On the other hand, this here, where we are now, is actually one of Northamptonshire's largest nature reserve, the Nene Wetlands Reserve, owned by the Wildlife Trust. This is where their office is as well. Their offices are at Rushden Lakes as well. Though it's attracting people away from like city centres and that, it's actually making them go to a nature reserve, like to do their shopping, for example. So then people can actually take in and, you know, enjoy some of the nature. And there is like a path, but like a better path that goes all the way around this place, which actually subsequently is what the Wildlife Trust is wanting us to people to do, is to, like, you know, fall in love with wildlife. So furthermore, the Nene Wetlands Nature Reserve is home to an actually very special animal, which is one of the first animals to be reintroduced in the UK, right here in Northamptonshire. And as you can see just over there, that fence is actually the cage it lives in, because right now this animal can't roam freely just yet in the UK. They need to be monitored, and that animal we're talking about is the beaver. But to save us from talking, we actually met up with Katie King from the Wildlife Trust, where we were lucky enough to actually go inside the beaver enclosure to film a little interview and see what the beavers have done.
Hi, my name's Katie. I am the Northampton Communities and Education Manager for the Wildlife Trust. Yeah, sure. So beavers had been extinct in the UK for between 400 and 900 years. With no one's exactly sure when the last beaver disappeared, but it's somewhere between that time. And they were hunted to extinction. They were hunted for their meat, and for their fur, which is incredibly dense and waterproof, so it was highly prized for making clothing and hats, and also for an oil that they produce in their scent glands called castoreum, which has like a vanilla scent, which was heavily prized by the perfume industry. So lots of reasons they were hunted, unfortunately. So yes, they were missing from our landscape for quite a few hundred years. So it was kind of a broader picture. So when I first started at the lakes about 8 years ago, the thought of reintroducing beavers was just a pipe dream. It was kind of, people suggested it as sort of a joke. But nationally, beavers started getting more kind of coverage. So in Scotland, they have been free living for a while, and they were legally recognised as a free living like native species, which was really important. Once that happened, the plan was that hopefully we could start introducing them in England, but the laws were slightly different in England. So if you released beavers, they had to be introduced in an enclosure, sort of in captivity. So there was some free-living beavers unofficially released down in Devon, and there was some debate about whether they'd be allowed to stay. And the Wildlife Trust were doing lots of monitoring on them, and they did this report, and it was decided that they were allowed to stay. And once that kind of came out, it sort of changed everything, because it meant that they were recognised as a sort of native species in England as well as in Scotland. And then that sort of led to the reintroduction programmes across the UK. So this is one of 38 at the moment in England. Up until very recently, when you brought them back, they had to be in an enclosure so you could manage what they were up to and they couldn't cause too many issues. And that was the case for us. So in order to bring them back, we had to speak to consultants, people who were sort of experts, speak to the Beaver Trust. Once they kind of did a feasibility study and they said, yes, this is perfect habitat and they'd thrive here. And then we had to get permission from the government. So Natural England had to come out and say, yes, we think they'd be okay here and they're not going to cause any issues. So once we got that permit from Natural England, then it was kind of full steam ahead, fundraising to build the fence, which was the biggest kind of expense. And
how much did it?
I think it was about 80 grand.
Oh my goodness.
It's a huge area. It's 18 hectares, this area.
18 and this is the Delta Pit.
This is Delta Pit, yeah. So this was decided that this would be the best place for them, both in terms of the habitat, but also there's no disturbance in here because there's no public access. So it was already kind of ideal.
Wow.
So once it was decided this was the ideal place, we did some fundraising, we got enough money to build the fence. Once the fence was up, then the Beaver Trust, they trapped a family in Scotland. So in Scotland they can be free living, but if they start causing issues, then they, like landowners, have the right to remove them from their land. So the Beaver Trust was kind of set up to do that. So if they're causing issues, they will go and trap the family unit and relocate them to somewhere else. And often that's a project like us. So they did that. They trapped a family from Scotland, a family of 8, and they brought them here on the 13th of February 2025 and let them go in Delta Pit. And that's
Alan and Barbara?
Boudica.
Boudica.
Alan and Boudica, yeah.
Didn't she have...
Yes.
Oh.
So Boudica's only got 3 legs. She's missing her front paw. We think she lost it in the fight, which is why she was called Boudica, because she's a bit of a warrior.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. So the reason we really wanted to bring beavers back here wasn't just because they're really interesting, but it's because actually as a habitat engineer and for habitat management, they're fantastic and they can do a much better job than we can. So in this sort of habitat, a lot of the work that we were doing as a conservation organisation involved removing trees from around the lake to let the light in, to allow things like reeds to grow, and reeds are great for lots of other species. But it was becoming increasingly difficult for us to do that because of the extreme weather we've been experiencing as a result of climate change. So things like flooding made it really difficult for us to manage this habitat. And so there was a risk that the habitat might start to deteriorate if we didn't do something about it. So by bringing the beavers in, they are now going to do that work for us. So beavers fell trees to eat and also to build their lodges and dams when appropriate. So by doing that, they let that light in, and already we're seeing the reeds are starting to grow in the areas where the beavers have been kind of felling the small trees. So they're already having a big impact, and they're doing exactly what we wanted to do, what we can't do now because of this extreme weather. So you can see exactly what they've done here. That's quite big.
So they've properly felled this,
and then they're going to be taking off this newer growth from the top. You're welcome to take beaver chips as souvenirs if you'd like to.
Yeah.
So you can quite clearly see there the newer chewing. These are different colour.
Oh, okay.
So they've been kind of coming back to this, leaving it for a few weeks,
you can
and then
definitely
coming back.
Oh, yeah. The different colours.
We don't know why they're doing that. It's a learning curve for all of us.
Maybe they're
practicing. So that there, up in top of that pine, that's a heron nest.
Heron nest.
Up there. That big mass.
It's insane. Why is it massive?
So they are pretty big. You can come this way if it's easy to see. And these trees here, this one and you see that one, all these are woodpecker holes. You see they've been like probing for insects under the bark. So there's
That's a
bit big for as a souvenir.
look at that.
You can see it's almost like it's been cut to length, so they might move this or use it to make their lodge. Perhaps it was en route to the lodge, and that's why I left it there. So yeah, this is kind of the regrowth that we would expect from the trees that we kind of felled. Like, yeah. And so this is like perfect size for them. So you can see they've been like chewing it, felling it, eating the growth off the top. Some of it's still attached, so we don't know if they do that on purpose or whether it's just a byproduct, but that tree there, because it's still attached, it will continue to grow, but it will just grow horizontally. That's what they do when people lay hedges. It's exactly the same concept, but the beavers have been doing it. So that will carry on growing that tree, and then obviously the new growth will be at perfect beaver height. So as a charity, the Wildlife Trust obviously protects habitats and makes sure that wildlife have somewhere to live, which is really, really important. But we're very conscious that without the next generation kind of getting involved and getting enthusiastic about this stuff and kind of taking up the baton, as it were, all of this work is going to be pointless if no one's here to kind of look after it. So we're really passionate about getting young people involved, getting them out experiencing this stuff. I mean, the beavers are so exciting. We'd love to get people out to see them, and really getting young people enthusiastic about nature. And also we're very conscious that eco-anxiety is a big problem for a lot of young people, and it's really hard to know what to do about it. Like, how do you go about protecting the environment? And that's a really big question, and it's one that a lot of us grapple with. But actually being able to get out and do something about it and help on a nature reserve and help wildlife near you can be a really big help with that. So you're not only helping your local environment, but it's great for you as well. So we're really keen to get people out, getting away from their screens or finding different ways to engage with them through different media, so that they're engaged and we can learn from them, and then they can learn from us, and hopefully that will future-proof our wildlife, because it's so important. Our wildlife is declining rapidly, and if we don't do something about it now, there's not going to be any wildlife left for the next generation, which is terrible. So we need to get young people on board. So yeah, any young people out there that are passionate conservationists or think they'd be interested, please do reach out to us. We'd love to hear from you.
So we're going to the Beaver Lodge. Okay, is it the Beaver Lodge? Yes, where they might have babies. So we've got to come one at a time because, like Katie said, we've got to keep the noise as low as possible. So here we go.
So the lodge is here. You see this big pile of sticks. The blue pole is the trail camera. If you're very, very quiet and careful, you can walk up as far as there and look that way.
You sure?
And there's a channel, and you can see like a burrow going down because they have underwater entrances.
So after the interview with Katie King, we decided to learn a little bit more about beavers and why they were brought down from Scotland. And from a couple of different sources, we found out that the Beavers Trust originally introduced Norwegian beavers to Scottish rivers. Now the problem is with these Norwegian beavers is they had a really low genetic diversity. This was due to mass cullings of the species in Norway in the 1800s, and so it ended up bringing in the Norwegian beavers, and a sample size of 21, it ended up whittling down to 9 because the beavers kept inbreeding and they weren't protected enough from the diseases and the natural environment. As Katie King said, beavers have been extinct from our country for 400 years, but they are a really important part of many ecosystems. And so people who were quite passionate about bringing the beavers back to Scotland took matters into their own hands and ended up bringing groups of Bavarian beavers instead. The Bavarian beavers had a much higher, or have a much higher genetic diversity because their heritage is made up of lots of different types of, or strains of beaver, like, I don't know, like French and German and all that sort of thing. So these beavers brought into Scotland were much more, I don't know, prepared for the environment and ended up breeding quite a bunch. And the Bavarian beavers ended up causing some damage to local farm property, trees that people liked, cropland, that sort of thing. And so they started, you know, killing beavers on site. And so the Beaver Trust fought to pass an act that protected beavers as, you know, a protected species. So they introduced a scheme where if a family of beavers was particularly, you know, bad behaved, causing trouble and damaging property, they bring them down to England. and that's part of our reintroduction of beavers into England as well, because the family here at Rushden Lakes is actually, you know, a family from Scotland who were moved down and now kept in a protected habitat. But, that's what we found out.
Well, look at this, guys. Look at the clouds. Look, they just look like two big feathers.
It's pretty cool.
Beautiful. Anyway, we've got this really, really long path to go down now. This goes on for ages, through Stanwick, all the way up to Thrapston. So
There's not much to update now, except we're just walking along this path. Then we would have made it to Thrapston.
yeah.
It's cool. So we got some old railway of Nene Valley Railway right here. It's pretty cool because obviously that railway track goes all the way down there. But it's cool that we're still walking along the same railway, which kind of makes sense actually, because it is Nene Valley Railway and we are walking the Nene Valley Way.
So a couple of weeks ago we were walking along here as practice to Thrapston, and we decided we wanted to hide a geocache somewhere along our walk. And this bridge here, somewhere on this bridge is our geocache. If you don't know what a geocache is, it's like this small little pocket or capsule of different items that people can hide around the country, and then they put it on an app, and then you're given a hint and you have to go to these locations and you have to try and work out where the cache is. But then you can like sign your name or just do whatever someone's putting it. So I'm gonna go find ours. I'm not gonna tell you where it is because you're meant to come out here to Stanwick Lakes. It's a good hike if you're local, but somewhere obviously on this bridge we've got a hint and you can look for where we've hidden it, but I'll go and get it now.
Oh,
so
this is our geocache.
In our geocache we have a little note saying do not take any of the stuff,
Which people haven't. Nice.
so here this is from the beaver enclosure we talked about earlier. This is a bit of bark that a beaver had chewed off the tree. This is from Chester House. These are some of the Roman pottery shards. Quite cool. In this little packet we have, is this the notebook?
The logbook, yeah, we'll have a look at that in a minute. We've got a few notes and the maps of our journey.
So this is the map of where we're journeying to. We are currently...
We should put you are here.
Yeah, something like that. Oh, this was the 11th of August.
The 11th of...
Bryce
Dock Dolphins, yeah. So he's our first finder.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Well, yeah.
That's
There we go. Hopefully, we can fill out the logbook more with with you guys coming and finding a geocache. It's just quite nice, isn't it? And it's a nice box design, isn't it?
Very good. Harry created it. Put magnets in the bottom.
I did.
That's our clue, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, there you go. That's our geocache. Oh, nice. Proper nice. This place. Right, so we've just showed you the geocache. So basically, if you guys want to go and find it, like George said earlier, it's a nice hike from Stanwick Lakes. But if you don't want to walk that much, you can park at the Woodford Marina, and it's a little bit shorter if you want to walk down from the opposite way. You're still following NVR, Nene Valley Railway. But if you do come and see the geocache, we would really love for you guys to put in the logbook a journey to the lighthouse. So when we go and check it, we can see, you know, who's come from the documentary. And yeah, it's just a nice little thing, isn't it?
Absolutely, it is. Tomorrow we have 13 hours. We want to get to Peterborough by 7. The first time we did this walk to Frapston, we came across these two couples, and we asked them a very important question: is it Nen or Neen? Now, part of what we wanted to do here in Frapston is go around and see how many people call it Nen and how many people call it Neen, because Frapston and Islip are meant to be the you know, the boundary for the pronunciation. Everyone past Frapston call it Neen, and like us, everyone before Frapston call it Nen. So going back to these couples, we went and asked them, is it Nen or Neen? And 2 of them said Nen and 2 of them said Neen. And so they told us this story about the Frapston and Islip bowling clubs, and apparently they were telling us that every year when the Islip and Frapston bowling clubs hold their competition, the loser has to call the river by the name the other team uses. And I think Islip, does Islip say Nen or Neen?
Islip's Neen.
So, and Frapston,
I
think it's Nens. And then so, yeah, that's what the couple was telling, like they were telling us. And I think it's just fantastic.
Right, guys, so here we are. So we've just come out of those bushes over there from the walking over the train viaduct, and we've just entered Frapston. So this is the this is where we're going to hunker down for the night. This is where we've booked our travel lodge, ready for day 2 basically. So I'm sure we should get going, boys. Here we are, Frapston Travel Lodge. So we've made it in the travel lodge, as you can see. It's really nice to have a shower, isn't it?
Oh, it was
to sit down.
So day 2 is going to be the longest part of this 4-day walk. It's a 45-kilometre from here in Frapston to Peterborough Travel Lodge. The way that we're going to approach things is I've just been working out on my calculator. Ideally, we want to complete the entire thing in 14 hours at most. Now, if we break down these 14 hours into 2-hour segments, we need to walk 6.4 kilometers every 2 hours at least. And so the idea is that we want to walk 1.5 hours and then rest for half an hour, and that's our framework. And we want to repeat that obviously until we get there. Now, we might reach 1.5 hours and be like, do you know what, we can keep going, and then it just might be that we have a longer rest elsewhere.
But that is the plan. So day 2 is going to be a scary day. We're going to have to work hard. We're going to have to be efficient. Well, without further ado, it's 20 to 10. We got to get some sleep, and we'll see you guys ready for day 2. Goodbye, everybody. Good morning, everybody. So we've just passed through Titchmarsh Nature Reserve. We're quite tired and we're only halfway.
So Peterborough owes its significant development to coming of the railways.
It's getting very, very difficult now.
Thank you so much for watching our first episode. We really appreciate everybody who's watched it. We have spent a lot of time and effort into making these 3 episodes, and I'm really glad you've watched the first one.
Big thank you to Keith from the Nen Railway, Ben from Chester House, and also Katie King from the Wildlife Trust. And also the beavers at Russian Lakes have given birth, so now there's plenty of baby beavers.
If you'd like to watch episode 2, it's now live on our Patreon for a very small price. It really help fund this project and support any future projects that we plan on taking.
If not, all the episodes eventually will come out on YouTube. It might just take a little longer.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
In life, you've got people who just cannot do certain things. I can't cook for the life of me. And my journey to the top of chefery, is that the word? Cooking my culinary skills started poor, well they still are, but we had problems like the debut onto the cooking scene. My mum was like, George, can you put some pasta in a pan? Because she wanted me to start dinner. Pan, in my mind, had one definition: frying pan. But okay, easy. So I just whacked up the frying pan to like boiling, no water, put loads of pasta in it, and I just watched it disintegrate. And I was just like, what? What is wrong with this? It's broken. And then I put it in a bowl, and I was like, Sophie, what's wrong? And she just looked, Sophie's my lips. And then another time, I was making eggs for dinner. And this was a little bit further along the line. But, you know, you crack an egg. I'd seen some of my guys, don't crack an egg onto the corner of the bowl, crack it on a work surface, like, okay. So I just cracked it and then opened it onto the table. And I just didn't know what to do with it. And my mum was like, well, right, you got to sort out for yourself, because, you know, later on at night, you have to do that. And I was like, okay. And I went and got the Hoover, and I was sent out of the kitchen. I was like, she sent me out. I wasn't allowed to clean it up. And my last favourite one was the cheese grater incident. I don't know why I was grating so much cheese. I just kept grating cheese, and the whole grater, you know, one of those classic like pyramid sort of shaped ones, just filled up the entire thing. And like, I was pressing down so hard on the grater, and then I shifted my weight and I tipped it over, and all of it just went everywhere. Like the whole grater just emptied onto my wall. And to this day, I still don't know why that happened. Like, that's only half my fault, but I don't cook much.